So now you must have understood how we calculate the sum of n terms of any AP. The formula for our sum is n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. If you look at the term inside the bracket, this term basically consists of two parts. One part being a, the other part being a plus n minus 1 into d. And then I can write my formula as n by 2 into a plus n minus 1 into d. The second term over here is simply what? It is the nth term of this AP. Now since we have taken the sum of only n terms over here, this nth term becomes the last term of this series. So I can also write my sum as n by 2 into the first term plus the last term. Instead of this part, I can write the last term. And if you observe this carefully, this is how we had got this term in the first place. While we were deriving our formula for sum, we had done what? We had added the first term with the last term, the second term with the second last term, and so on. So I can write my sum formula as this also. Now where can you use this formula? Consider a situation where you have not been given the value of d, but only the value of n, a and the last term. In that case, you can use this formula, because look here carefully, this formula does not use the value of d at all. It simply uses n, a and l. So in those situations, you can use this formula instead of the original one. Now let's try to solve a question. The question says that we have to find the sum of 19 terms of an AP whose nth term is given by 2n plus 1. Now you might think that you have been given no information in this question. You neither know A nor D. You are just told that you have to find the sum of 19 terms of any AP. But over here you have been given that the nth term of this AP is 2n plus 1. What does this mean? This means that if you insert any number in place of n, you will get that particular term of the AP. That is, if you put 1 instead of n, you will get the first term of this AP. If you put 2, you will get the second term. If you put 19, you will get the 19th term. In this way, you can find all terms of this AP. Now with this information, please try to solve this problem. I hope you were able to solve this question. We were given that the nth term of our AP is 2n plus 1, which means that our first term will become 2 into 1 plus 1, which is 3. Our second term will become 2 into 2 plus 1, which is 5. And similarly, we can calculate all the terms. And our 19th term will become 2 into 19 plus 1, which is 39. Now, to calculate our sum, we must use this formula, n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Now, if you want, you can find out the values of a and d from here and then put them in this formula and calculate the sum. But just now we had studied one more formula, which was sum is equal to n by 2 into a plus l. The 39 that we calculated over here, what is this? This is simply the last term. So another way to calculate the sum can be, we can put the values of a and the last term from here in this formula and then calculate sum. If you put value of n as 19, a as 3 and l as 39, you will get the sum, which is 399. Now let's try to solve another question. In this question, you have been asked to find out all angles of a quadrilateral such that all these angles form an arithmetic progression. You also know that the smallest angle of this quadrilateral measures 75 degrees. Now, how are you going to proceed about solving this question? You know that the sum of all angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. With this information, attempt this question and find out the answer. Now let's see how we can solve this question. We know that the smallest angle of this quadrilateral is 75 degrees, and we also know that all angles of this quadrilateral form an AP. So we can consider the smallest angle, that is 75 degrees, to be the first term of our AP. If we can find out what we need to add to every term of this AP to get the next term, we can find the remaining 3 angles. That is, we need to find the common difference of this AP to find out all the 4 terms. Now let's see what we already know. We know that A in this case is 75 degrees, which is the smallest angle. We also know that sum of all the angles over here is 360 degrees since it is a quadrilateral. This sum is nothing but sum of n terms, that is sum of 4 terms, because we have 4 angles in a quadrilateral. Now if we look at the formula for sum, that is Sn is equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Here we know the value of Sn, we know the value of n, and we know the value of a. If we put these values, we'll get 360 is equal to 4 by 2 into 2 into 75 plus 4 minus 1 into d. If I simplify this, I will get 360 is equal to 2 into 150 plus 3d, or 180 is equal to 150 plus 3d. This is a simple equation and I can solve this to get the value of d. The value of d comes out to be 10 degrees. If I use this value of d, I can find all the 4 angles of my quadrilateral, which are 75 degrees. The next angle would be 75 plus 10, that is 85 degrees. Then 95 degrees, and then 105 degrees. You can also check whether the sum of all these comes out to be 360 degrees or not, and then you will know whether we have solved this correctly or not.